Morning Becomes Eclectic at 89.9 KCRW, and our guest in studio this morning is Shelby Lynne. There's a new CD coming out. Let's, wow, that sounded good. Did you bust a string right at the end there?
Well, I was close. I think maybe, sorry about that.
So, again, thanks for coming in and for bringing 𝕜𝕐𝕨 in with you as well.
My pleasure.
September 2003 was the last time we spoke, and I say this often when people come in, because after you've been doing a job like this for a while, people come in, and, I think this is the fourth or fifth time you've been on our program, and it doesn't seem that long ago, but it's been a good year and a half since you were here last time. So let's talk about the new record and what's been going on in between our last visit. Identity Crisis, I think, was the album that we were talking about then.
Yeah.
And that had sort of marked a big shift for you in a number of ways. I seem to remember us talking about personal stuff and then like record label stuff and getting back to the essence of the songs for you.
Yeah.
How did the new album go on from that? The new CD, by the way, comes out next week and it's called Suit Yourself.
Well, let's see. After doing the last record, I kind of liked that one pretty well. And then I figured I would up the volume a little bit and bring in some friends of mine that played instruments, other than just doing it by myself, and handpick some fellas that are really tasty. And 𝕜𝕐𝕨, he's sitting here. He's not that bad. I asked him to come in, and
right.
And we cut a couple of his songs, and just trying to keep it as real as possible, and still put a little volume on it every now and then.
You say you cut a couple of his songs.
Yeah.
Did you record some other people's material this time around as well as your own? Or did you co-write some stuff?
Just with 𝕜𝕐𝕨 there, just, a couple of things that he wrote a few years back, and that I've been wanting to cut jonesing on for a long time. And, after I got in the business of making records that I wanted to make for myself, I decided to cut what I wanted, and his two were a couple that I wanted, and they're on there. Rainy Night in Georgia, and a thing called Old Time's Sake that we just did.
That's the one you did at the top of the set, right?
Yeah.
And then Rainy Night in Georgia, of course, is a very well-known song.
Yes, it is.
Why did you decide you wanted to do those two songs in particular? Obviously, you're a fan of his work and
yes,
some of his songs, but why those two?
Well, Old Time's Sake is a song that I heard that 𝕜𝕐𝕨 recorded. I had no idea that Elvis had cut it even back in the day, and I just loved it. I thought it was just a classic tune. It does everything for you that needs doing as far as songs. It's got a pretty song to it, a pretty melody, killer lyric, and just real soulful. And I took the opportunity to cut that, and then that same week I asked 𝕜𝕐𝕨 if it'd be all right if I gave a shot at Rainy Night. Since I had him there, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to see if he'd lend his guitar and his soul on that, and we did it.
Well, those are the two covers that are on here.
Yeah.
What about your own material on this one? Some of the things. One of the things that I noticed about this album, which is really kind of fun, is that you've got a lot of the sort of conversation in between the songs in the studio as well.
It was kind of a. I feel like that is who I am. Things aren't perfect with making records for me. I like the impromptu feel, and I feel like letting the audience in on that. If they're brave enough to get as far as to get their hands on the record, then we're going to really, really douse them with the reality of the way things really are. So yeah, there's some dialogue in there, and really the way it went down. The very beginning of the record is some talking that was going, and then after I heard it, I thought, well, hell, let's leave it in there.
Now usually, of course, that stuff is there whenever you're recording, right?
Yes.
But you chop it all off, and you sort of get to the beginning of the song, the end of the start, and you where you can hear a stop button clicking, and that stuff's all gone. But you decided to leave it in there. Yeah,
to me, I feel like the most perfect records are the ones that are the most imperfect, and we are human, and things aren't a perfect computerized record. Especially if you really had too much wine, which I normally did, and I just kept the real parts in there, and the fellas didn't seem to mind, and I hope the audience doesn't mind. It is kind of like letting people in, to a thing that was a lot of fun for us, and it is a fun thing making records, or it is for me. I know 𝕜𝕐𝕨 and I had a good time getting the record together.
So the songs that you wrote that are on here, are they all songs that were written for the record, or are you somebody who has bits and pieces sort of kicking around that you come back to?
Well, let's see. I wrote a couple of them at the time that, just got kind of lucky and some inspiration came over, But a few of them I had left over from the last record. And then, I'm always writing tunes, so I kind of hopefully stockpile them, and keep them around and hopefully remember when it comes to record-making time to reach back in there and go, oh, yeah, I remember that thing. Maybe it's time to throw it down. So
now, you're here with Tony Joe today. Are you going out on tour? Are you going to be doing a sort of stripped-down tour? Are you going to do a band tour? What's going on later on this year?
I haven't really decided. I like doing this so much, just, the two of us sitting around. I really think there's something that, we could use a lot of today, more of an intimate feel, At the same time, I like to rock. So it just depends. I might do a little bit of both, I know I'm going out, but I don't know when, and I'm trying not to ask that question. So.
Well, the new record comes out next week. We know there's an in-store next week on the day of the album's release, which is over at 𝕜𝕐. We're going to give away some copies of the CD before we wrap things up and tell people a little bit more about that. But I'm going to throw it back to you guys. We've got about 15 minutes left. And another set of music from Shelby Lynne on Morning Becomes Eclectic.
Thank you, Nick.